Hello, my little friends. Welcome to the Littlestory channel. I'm Bella. Have fun and learn with today's story. Remember, every story has something special to teach you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss the new stories. Shall we begin? In the heart of an ancient, deep forest where few dared to tread, there lived a woman named Rosa. She was kind and wise, with a wealth of knowledge about the medicinal herbs and plants that grew among the trees and streams. With her careful, skillful hands, Rosa gathered leaves, roots, and flowers, transforming them into medicines, ointments, and teas that could ease pain, fevers, and other ailments. Every week, she would cross the forest to a nearby village, carrying her woven basket filled with these small miracles of nature. Upon arriving in town, she sold her remedies exclusively to the local doctor, the only one who knew about her skills and the origin of the medicines. Most people in the village never knew where the doctor's remedies came from, and they never questioned it. To them, the doctor performed miracles, and that was all that mattered. But Rosa, the lady of the forest, was known by nearly everyone in the village, and she didn't have the best reputation. Although she had never harmed anyone, many villagers believed she was a witch. Gossip would spread across the square whenever she appeared, and children, with wide-eyed stares, would pull faces and run away whenever they saw her. Rosa, however, did not mind. She knew that her work was valuable, and the forest was her true home. Her friends were not the village people, but the animals who lived among the trees and plants. Every night, before going to bed, she would sit on her porch and tell stories to the animals, who gathered from all parts of the forest to listen. The fox, the rabbits, and even the squirrels would perch on nearby branches to hear her enchanting tales. But one day, something changed in the village. The gossip and whispers grew louder, and soon a group of villagers gathered in the square, fueled by indignation. "Why do we let that old witch come into our village?" some shouted. "Who knows what kind of spells she carries in that basket?" And with that, the group marched to the mayor's house, demanding that he forbid Rosa from entering the town. The mayor, who feared the villagers' reaction and wanted to keep the peace, eventually agreed. He decreed that Rosa would no longer be allowed into the village. The news reached Rosa like a cold, sharp wind. When she read the mayor's notice, she felt her heart ache. She had spent so many years tending to plants and creating remedies to ease the suffering of others. Now, however, her efforts were not only misunderstood but unwelcome. Rosa didn't argue. Instead, she gathered her basket and decided to continue her quiet life in the forest, though her heart was heavy with the knowledge that she could no longer help those in need. Time passed, and gradually, the doctor's supply of remedies began to dwindle. At first, no one noticed. But after a few days, children started coming down with lingering fevers, mothers complained of constant aches, and fathers grumbled about back and joint pains. The demand for the doctor's help grew, but his answer was always the same: "I'm out of remedies. I don't have the means to cure everyone." That's when the villagers began to question things. Where had all those miraculous medicines that had always helped the village come from? Why did the doctor, who once could cure any ailment, now seem so powerless? And the people, growing more worried each day, began to remember Rosa. Could it be that she had been the one providing the remedies that so many had used without a second thought? Was the woman they had feared truly the source of their health and well-being? Now, with the village's health at risk, the townsfolk began to understand the gravity of the situation. The need for healing was greater than their fear, and the weight of their past decisions began to press on many hearts. What would they do now that Rosa was no longer allowed in town? Would the Lady of the Forest forgive them if they sought her help? The village found itself in a dilemma, with the question of Rosa's goodness still lingering. Could they earn back her trust and regain the wise herbalist's aid? And, most of all, were they ready to see Rosa for who she truly was? As the days passed, regret began to weigh more heavily on the villagers' hearts. Common symptoms of illness resurfaced and spread, and the doctor, pressured by his patients, finally decided to reveal the secret he had kept. The remedies were not his own. He explained to the mayor and the townspeople that all those miraculous cures came from the skilled hands of Senora Rosa, the forest witch, as they called her. Even he was unaware of the full complexity of her formulas, he only knew how to administer them. The news spread quickly. Many began to recall times when Rosa's remedies had saved lives and relieved pain. One mother whispered with a choked voice, "So she's the one who made the medicine when my daughter was so ill?" Another man, who had suffered a deep cut on his leg years ago, reflected aloud, "And that herb the doctor used on my wound? It healed so quickly, that was Senora Rosa too?" The doctor confirmed to everyone that, while he handled diagnoses and doses, without Rosa's herbs and potions, he could have done little. The villagers began to feel the weight of guilt, realizing they had driven away someone who only wished to help. Filled with remorse, the villagers and the mayor gathered to find a way to apologize. Not knowing where Rosa lived, someone suggested building a large bonfire at the edge of the forest to send up a smoke signal, indicating they wished to speak with her. And so they did. From afar, Rosa saw the smoke rising among the trees. Worried, she quickly gathered some of her best remedies and potions, thinking that some injury or serious illness had spread through the village. Not considering the ban, she ran through the forest to the village. When she arrived, she saw all the villagers gathered there, but to her surprise, there were no injuries or illnesses. Instead, they were all on their knees, offering her fruits, provisions, and even money as a token of their gratitude. The mayor approached her and, on behalf of the village, sincerely apologized for doubting her intentions. One by one, people expressed their thanks and remorse for treating her so poorly. With tears of emotion in her eyes, Rosa smiled and said she wanted none of those offerings. All she wished for was that they could return to normal so she could continue helping them as she always had. The entire village sighed in relief, and in a moment of pure joy, Senora Rosa was once again welcomed as an essential part of the community. Lessons from this story. Don't judge by appearances. Sometimes, what we don't understand can scare us, but judging without understanding can lead to mistakes that hurt those who mean only good. The importance of forgiveness. Rosa's kindness shows that forgiving and leaving the past behind are noble acts that allow for new beginnings. Recognize those who help us. Often, we forget to thank those who support us. This story reminds us of the importance of valuing and showing gratitude to those who dedicate themselves to our well-being. The strength of community and unity. When the village recognized Rosa's importance, everyone came together to correct the mistake. This spirit of community strengthens bonds and makes us more understanding. Moral: we should never disregard those who might help us, and forgiveness is always more powerful than prejudice. Kindness, even when misunderstood, is a transformative force, and those who truly love are always willing to forgive. Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please give the video a like and leave a comment below. Tell me what you learned. Share it with your friends so they can join our adventure too. Also, check out this story here, it's amazing. Trust me,